Morning, everybody. This is Jeremy Brunansky. It's 10 a.m. PST right here on YouTube, and we are ready to start another episode of Brunansky's vlog right here live on YouTube. Before we jump into this week's episode, we're going to take a quick second, make sure we got a good connection with YouTube. Then we'll roll that intro and we'll be right back. Give everybody a second to hop in. So let's take a look here. It looks like we have got the green light from YouTube, so we are good to go. So let's roll that intro and we'll be right back with this week's brand new episode of Brunansky's vlog. All right, and we're back. I'm Jeremy Brunansky. This is Brunansky's vlog live on YouTube. Thank you guys so much for joining me yet again for another brand new episode right here on YouTube, where we talk movie news, movie reviews, and a little bit more. This week, we've got a lot to talk about. We're going to cover a couple of things that are kind of off topic, but still part of the show. And then we're going to get into some news stories that dropped this week, as well as this morning. And we're also going to take a look at some movie reviews. And we'll go ahead and we'll take a look at some what's hitting theaters this week, what's hitting DVD and Blu-ray this week, and finally Certified Rad, my personal favorite. Before we do all of that, let's go ahead and get the commercials out of the way, though. So if you're new to the show, we do Twitter, we do YouTube, and we do the Stardust app. So right here on YouTube is the weekly show every Monday at 10 a.m. PST. You're going to want to follow us on Twitter as well, at Brunansky's vlog. And then finally, Stardust is where I do all my movie trailer reviews. And again, that's at Brunansky's vlog. So make sure that you guys are following us there as well. Now, if you know, we've been traveling, been doing a lot of traveling, right? I got some links down below in the show notes. So if you click the little box and you expand the show notes and you expand the description box, you'll see all the news stories that we're going to cover. You can follow us with the articles there. Plus, we have the 1-year anniversary, because we have been on YouTube for over a year. So we got the 1-year anniversary down below. You can click that link. It'll take you right to it. And then while I was in Canada, well, actually, and then before I got to Canada, I was in Yellowstone shooting a short film. So the short film is down below as well. You can click that link at any point and it'll take you right to the short film we shot in Yellowstone. And then while I was in Canada, my cousin is actually getting ready to do a women's retreat, a spiritual healing women's retreat. And so she asked me to help her and her friend out with a promotional video, a commercial or advertisement, if you will. So I threw their links down below as well. I just sent her the final video, so she's got that. She approved it, so we're all good there. So hopefully everything works out. If you're in Canada and you're into spiritual healing and stuff like that, you may want to check out their websites again. Check them out below. And then also we're gonna give another shout out to family. My cousin's dating this musician, a different cousin. I've got a lot of female cousins. A different female cousin is dating a country music musician. And while I was in Canada, my cousin was like, here, check this song out. Check this song out. They're really good. They're really good. Everybody seems to like this guy. I haven't met him. All of the women in the family gave him high praise. The men in the family said he's a really nice guy. We went through a bunch of his music catalog that he's got, and I really like some of the tunes. So I threw a link for the song that I enjoyed the most, which is called Blame It on the Neon. And this is with... where'd it go? There it is. This is with Leaving Thomas. And again, they're country music. So if you like country music, you want to check this out. The song, again, is called Blame It on the Neon by Leaving Thomas. I really like the song. It's a different time signature than your standard pop tunes, right? So it's got that ballad kind of waltz feel. The song just delivers a really nice lyric all the way through. It tells a really nice story. And then once they get to the chorus, the vocal line changes up a little bit and it becomes much more fluid all the way through the chorus, which I really dig. The harmonies are really good. Her boyfriend is the rhythm guitar player and backup singer for this particular song. So check it out. Again, Leaving Thomas, really good tune down below. They're up in Canada right now. I don't know where they're going after that, but they're on some kind of little tour that they're doing. So hopefully everything works out with them. Really talented group. Again, everybody in my family said the guy was nice, so got to go with it. So check it out down below. Leaving Thomas, Blame It on the Neon. Hope you guys enjoy it. I know I did when I was listening to it. And there you go. All right, so let's go ahead now and move into this week's show. We're going to get into some news. We're going to get into 2 movie reviews. Since I just got back into town, not yesterday, but late the night before, did not have an opportunity to get the green screen up, right, to get everything recorded like we normally do for the movie reviews. So if you saw last week's episode where I was on the road, and we did the show on the road, there was a different format to how we did the movie reviews. So we're going to stick with that format this week. So stay tuned for that. And then we'll just be kind of right into everything as far as what's arriving in theaters, what's arriving on DVD and Blu-ray, and finally, certified rad. So let's go ahead and move now into this week's news segment. How about that? All right, there you go. We're back to normal, right? Thank goodness. So down below, you'll see we got the ticker tape running. Those are for the honorable mentions. So if you have any interest in kind of what is popping off in the news that maybe is cool, but I didn't really want to dive too deep into, you can check that out down below in the ticker tape. That's what it's there for. You got the honorable mentions section down there. We're going to go ahead and rock and roll right into this week's news segment. We're going to be talking about the weekend box office, and we're going to take a look at the top 5. What did you guys see? And I already told you what I saw is Christopher Robin and The Spy Who Dumped Me. So we're going to take a look at those 2 films. But what did you guys check out? We'll go ahead and take a look at that right now. But first, coffee. All right, so coming in at the number 5 this week, we've got Black Klansman at $10,799,000. Coming in at number 4 is Slender Man at $11,325,000. Number 3 is Disney's Christopher Robin at $12,430,000. Number 2, Mission Impossible Fallout at $20 million. And coming in at number 1, Shark Week is dominating, and that is right. We are talking about The Meg, coming in at $44,500,000. Now, out of these 5 films, the one I'm most surprised about, and this was only because last week I was under the impression that Black Klansman was coming out in limited release, but I guess the website that I pull my data from was incorrect on that, because apparently it hit all the theaters. So that surprised me when I saw it. I was like, really? Limited release and it's in the top 5? But then when I did some more research, I was like, oh, this went wide release. Completely wrong. And then my surprise kind of went away, because I was like, well, that makes sense, because the movie looks really good. The trailers look good. Looking forward to seeing it. Slender Man, kind of surprised that's in the top 5, right? It's a horror film. It's August. So I wasn't really expecting like a super awesome horror movie in August, right? Usually I would expect that to come closer to Halloween or, you know, some other time of year. But August, after the summer blockbuster season's over, didn't really have high hopes for a horror movie. But hey, I'm not a horror movie guy, and you guys who are getting out to see it clearly are horror movie fans, because you put it in the top 5. Disney's Christopher Robin, you're going to hear my review in a little bit for that. Let me just say up front, I loved Christopher Robin. In fact, while I was in Canada, my family, all my cousins at the house we were staying at, they were all like, yeah, let's go to the movies. So they were actually super cool, and we all went to the movies together, which was nice. But we all really liked it. I was texting my brother back here in the States. I was like, hey, you got to take the kids to see this movie. He did. The kids really enjoyed it. He enjoyed it. His wife enjoyed it. So spoiler alert, it's going to be a pretty positive review later in the show for that. Mission Impossible Fallout, had a great time with this movie. This franchise just continues to deliver. Great action, great spy stuff, nice little throwbacks to older Mission Impossible films, right? But you don't necessarily need to have seen all of the Mission Impossible films to appreciate this one. But again, if you have, it helps. It kind of elevates things, because you're like, oh, that's a cool callback. That's a cool callback. It's just really nice. And then The Meg, I haven't seen it yet. I'm looking forward to this, because to me, the advertising campaign for this has been spot on. I don't think they've been misleading us as a movie-going audience at all. I think what we get in the trailers, with just that fun shark goofball, like just out there kind of film, I think that's what we're going to get in the theaters. I still have to see it, but judging from the fact that it took first place at over $40 million opening weekend, I think that says my assumptions may be correct, right? What the fans went in to see, they hoped to see, they saw, and they enjoyed it. So, hey, great job there for the Meg. Now, just real quick in the top 10, just to finish it off, we have Ant-Man and the Wasp at number 10, Hotel Transylvania 3, Summer Vacation at number 9, The Equalizer 2 at number 8, Mamma Mia, Here We Go again at 7, and The Spy Who Dumped Me coming in at number 6. So there's your weekend box office. Comment below with your thoughts about the weekend box office. Let me know what you thought about those films. Did you see those films? If so, non-spoiler reviews down below. Get that conversation going. All right, first topic today in the news. Not really a huge story, but just kind of fun. When I saw it, I was like, that's fun. And this is coming to us from the Hollywood Reporter, and it's Marvel Studios is re-releasing all 20 of its original films in IMAX. And this is going all the way back to 2008's Iron Man with Robert Downey Jr., the film that started this whole cinematic universe coming out in IMAX. Now, in the article, it's basically just what I said, right? All of their films are being re-released in IMAX. But the important thing is in the article, they actually give you a breakdown of what theater or what dates the movies are going to be in theaters for IMAX. So it starts August 30th with Iron Man, The Incredible Hulk, Iron Man 2, and Thor. And then it just kind of moves down August 31st, September 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th. So it just kind of goes through the whole listing, right, of their catalog for the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So definitely something that we can be excited about as fans, because in the article it also talks about how some of these films weren't even released in IMAX. So this will be the first time they've actually been in an IMAX theater, which I think is pretty dope. So check that article out. Put those dates in your calendars if you're fans of the MCU, because we've got IMAX goodness coming up soon. All right, next topic is coming to us from Empire. And this is, I mean, this was everywhere, right? We've got two different articles for this story. We've got Empire and then also the New York Times, both of those down below, check them. But this is about how the Academy Awards, right? They decided to add a new category for just popular films. And at first I was like, that's interesting. Like it feels kind of like they want to just draw people in, right? But then also at the same time or viewers, they want to draw viewers in. But then also at the same time, it feels kind of like they're not quite sure who watches like the Academy, right? Because I know like corporate America, right? You go into your cubicle the next day after the awards ceremony, and people are like, oh, did you watch it? We saw the music things, like, and that's like it, right? So it's not like this huge, like the normal people, right? Like not the huge movie fans like you guys and I are, but like the normal people who see maybe like a couple movies a year. They're not like really like gung-ho and tuning in like hardcore for this. So I feel like they're kind of like, we know our audience, but we don't really know our audience, and they can't get their focus right. I don't know. But then it also kind of feels like, well, is this just kind of like a pat on the back for certain films, like just to draw attention to them, to get the conversation going, to get more people talking about the films, to get them back out into theaters? Because if you have a film that gets nominated for like, you know, most popular, which again, in both articles, in the Empire article and in the New York Times article, neither one really kind of specifies what earns that status, right? What are the qualifications? How do they quantify it? There's none of that, which is kind of weird. In the New York Times article, it talks about how like news will be forthcoming. We'd hope news would be forthcoming. You made an announcement, but you didn't give us all the details. So we're hoping news is forthcoming. But it's just kind of weird because it's like, are they just trying to draw more attention to certain films? If the box office numbers are like decreasing, like we keep hearing sometimes they are, is this new category simply just a cash grab for them to where, you know, you hear movies, and even some movies that get nominated for like Best Picture will be re-released in theaters to try and get people talking about them again before the awards show. So are they kind of following that same pattern where it's just like, well, hey, look, the superhero films are getting nominated for most popular, right? So your Black Panthers, your Avengers, the Wonder Womans, right? So you have all of these films that are superhero genre getting nominated for popular. And is that just a way to remind people, hey, we got these films, don't forget to check them out, and then re-release them again to get people back into the theater to try and boost those numbers, right? Because we've seen films like with Avatar and Titanic, how they make all this money and then they kind of like disappear, but then all of a sudden they'll get re-released in the theater and those box office numbers keep going up, right? They pad the numbers, which is kind of clever. But it's just interesting that like they're just like, hey, we got this new category, but we're not going to explain it. So all we can do is kind of speculate because news is forthcoming. So I don't know. It seems kind of weird. I'm okay with it. I really don't care either way. Just, you know, hopefully these nominees make sense, right? Because and hopefully they don't take away from their ability to earn Best Picture, right? You got movies like The Dark Knight. You know, I think Avengers Infinity War, there's some consideration. I feel like there's a conversation to be had for nominating that with all of the potential for a best film category. I think Avengers Infinity War, while it had some story pacing issues because of how much information they had to cram into it, I still thought overall it was a pretty good film that did a great job of highlighting one character centrally, and that's Thanos, and like his story with his daughters and like everything else. So there's a conversation to be had. That's all I'm saying. But let me know what you think about this category in the comments below. Were you blown away? Were you mystified? Were you just like, this is ridiculous, this is the stupidest thing in the world? Let me know. I'm curious to hear kind of what your reaction was in the comments section below. All right, and last story for the day is coming to us from Deadline, and this is Alex Esso is going to be starring in this film called The Death of Me by Warner Brothers. That's Dr. Sleep is the next film she's doing, and that's by Warner Brothers. This is coming to us from Darren Lynn Bousman. He's directing this, and it's by Ari Margolis, James Morley III, and David Tish. This film takes place on an exotic island. This is straight from the article. Where a couple is on holiday and they wake up with no recollection of what transpired the night before, and they find a video that shows them as willing participants in a ritual that inexplicably ends with him murdering her. Now, this is going to star Alec Esso, and with that is also Luke Hemsworth and Maggie Q. So, psychological thriller. Looks like they had a wild and crazy night that was super weird, and then they got to figure it out while they're on a tropical island paradise. So it sounds like it could be interesting. It sounds like it has some potential with the actors in it. I'm not entirely sold on the quality of the film that we're going to get, like the story. I could be wrong. This could be like their breakout film for all of them. Excuse me. But to me, it's just kind of like, well, this sounds like it could be really cool, but I'm still waiting to see kind of like who else comes on board to work with this story or work with this film. And just to kind of get a little bit more, maybe that first trailer will like give us a better idea. But right now I'm kind of like, it could be cool. I like the premise. I like the premise a lot. But, you know, we'll have to kind of wait and see. I like the actors. But again, got to wait for that first trailer. So go ahead and comment below with your thoughts about that story. We're going to go ahead and move now into the movie reviews. Movie reviews, again, are going to be for The Spy Who Dumped Me and Christopher Robin. So again, if you remember from last week, we have a different format that we're doing here, so just stay tuned for this. I'm going to give you the read through. We don't have the green screen, but don't worry, we're getting you those reviews right now. All right, so here we go. We are going to be talking about The Spy Who Dumped Me right now. So here we go. Dating can be a difficult road to navigate. The stress of getting to know someone who you may or may not want to share intimate moments of your life with is real. Now, on top of all the normal peculiarities of dating, let's imagine you just discovered you were dating a spy. People are trying to kill you, and you have to travel all over Europe to stay alive. Pretty intense, right? Right. So, does The Spy Who Dumped Me provide a comedic spy adventure that is equally humorous and action-packed, or should we swipe left on this film? Let's talk about it in this review. To my surprise, this is not a satire of spy films. The trailers depicted this story exactly as it is, an action comedy. In fact, by the finale, we see the possibility of a sequel, but I hope that's not the case. The story revolves around the life of two friends, Audrey, played by Mila Kunis, and Morgan, played by Kate McKinnon, who have discovered they are in possession of a very valuable item. This item, a thumb drive, is being sought after by government agencies and terrorists who will stop at nothing to acquire it from these ladies. With Audrey's boyfriend shot dead, the ladies escape to Europe and the story is off and running. The movie moves at a pretty consistent and quick pace with an almost 2-hour runtime. There's a few jokes that could have been cut to lessen the runtime and tighten up the story overall, but it stays pretty even across the board. The balance of action and humor didn't feel as consistent as the pacing, which seems odd. However, this could simply be an example of the directing being stronger than the writing. The action scenes felt like action scenes, even if one, the trapeze fight, felt ludicrous and silly. And it's the split of believability with nonsensical fun that made me question the tone this movie wanted to deliver. Did it want to be a spy action comedy flick or a goofy parody of spy films? It leans towards spy action comedy, but feels uncommitted to that subgenre, lessening the overall enjoyment I had watching it on the big screen. The plot of the story was fine. Best friends find themselves in the midst of a battle for information that spans the globe. In this, they did a great job bringing in other characters to help keep things fresh. Morgan's parents, the assassin, the terrorist parents, the CIA, MI6, an Uber driver. All of these delightful additions to the story increased the enjoyment factor, but only so much. The characters didn't ever really feel three-dimensional. We're given surface-level personalities that exist to set up a joke or move us from point A to point B. We don't ever really dig into who these two ladies are or why they're willing to travel the globe to help a man who, just hours before he died, was losing all of his stuff to a fire they started because they were mad at him. He's a jerk, let's torch all of his belongings. Okay, maybe we should travel to Europe to help him complete his mission that we knew nothing about until he was shot dead in the apartment by a naked European man. What is going on? The Spy Who Dumped Me is playing at your local movie theater right now. I recommend you wait for this film to hit Redbox or your preferred streaming service. It's a great Sunday afternoon on the couch flick. I did laugh more than I thought I would. However, that isn't enough to get my recommendation for you to spend your hard-earned dollars or time in a theater on this movie. The on-screen chemistry between Kunis and McKinnon was surprisingly enjoyable, but not enough to win me over. And because of that, The Spy Who Dumped Me is getting 0 high fives from this guy. All right, and there is The Spy Who Dumped Me. Let's go ahead now and move into the next review, which is going to be for Christopher Robin. As a child, life is full of possibility and wonder. The lens in which we see the world is full of curiosity, imagination, and excitement. Then we get older. We get jobs in corporate America. And our lives are reduced to a minimum 40-hour work week, lazy bosses, stressful relationships, and waiting for the weekend, unless corporate America steals that away at the last minute too. And in this particular case, things are no different across the pond in England. So, does Christopher Robin paint a believable portrayal of a man who is lost to his career only to be reminded of what's important in life? Or is he a hallucinating madman who talks to stuffed animals? Let's dive in and take a look in this review. The story begins by showing us Christopher Robin and his relationship with Pooh Bear. From there, we see Christopher growing up in school, at work, as a soldier during the war, and finally a father and husband home from war. He is no longer the boy who travels to the acre forest, but is instead the head of a department at a luggage manufacturing company that is in desperate need to increase revenue or reduce cost. His wife and daughter leave for the weekend, and that is where the story begins. Christopher Robin, played by Ewan McGregor, is trying to figure out how to reduce his department budget by 20% and at the same time trying to avoid his neighbor who is constantly asking him over to play cards. At the same time, Pooh is trying to find his friends but cannot and sets out to find Christopher so he can help him find everyone, much to Christopher's surprise and dismay. The story develops rather quickly at the beginning to set up the characters for this story. That's not a negative either, surprisingly. Once Pooh walks into the real world, the pacing continues its steady push forward, but never at the sacrifice of character development or story. We are treated to an examination of a man who is lost, but doesn't realize it yet himself. It takes him stepping out of corporate life and back into those moments that matter with family and friends before his epiphany that eventually saves the day in unimaginable ways occurs. It's heartfelt, honest moments that are both well acted and well constructed. His wife Evelyn, played by Hayley Atwell, delivers the role of frustrated but loving wife and mother very well. She is supportive but hopeful that eventually the man she married will come back home and laugh with her again. And his daughter Madeline, played by Bronte Carmichael, tries to do and behave in such a manner she pleases her somewhat absent father. He's not physically absent from the home, but emotionally absent as her dad. In fact, we don't realize until much later in the movie that she is aware of how much love he has for her as her father. He's that displaced emotionally, and the voice work and animation of Pooh and Friends just beautifully builds on the character development of Christopher coming back to who he is deep down inside. Christopher Robin is playing at your local movie theater right now, and I am definitely recommending a big screen viewing of this film. It's a beautiful story about refinding yourself and the value of family, friendship, and being able to spend time on holiday with those you hold dear, while also acknowledging the fact that giving people time to enjoy holidays will help boost their spending, which in turn helps the economy. I couldn't help but smile. This film has the 3 H's: hard work, holiday with loved ones, and heart. And because of that, Christopher Robin is getting both high fives from this guy. Christopher Robin is playing at your local movie theater right now. Take your family to enjoy this wonderful family film. All right, and that wraps up the movie review segment. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Again, a little different format right now because you know, just getting back into town late, trying to get the commercial finished yesterday. Didn't have time to get those recorded and edited for today's show, but don't worry, later this, well, maybe not this week, but later, very soon, we'll have all 3 of those reviews from while I was out on the road post up, so you can actually see those full board right here on the channel. So that's going to be Mission Impossible Fallout, Christopher Robin, and The Spy Who Dumped Me. So let's go ahead and move now into the last segment of the show here. We're going to be taking a look at what's arriving in theaters, what's arriving on DVD and Blu-ray for your home theater, and finally, Certified Rad. But first, all of this talking has got me thirsty, so water break. Very refreshing. All right, let's go ahead and jump into what is hitting theaters this week. We have Mile 22 starring Mark Wahlberg. We have Alpha and Crazy Rich Asians. Out of these 3 films, I'm actually looking forward to all 3. Mile 22 looks like it's going to be a really good action flick. Alpha looks like it's going to be a pretty cool, like, prehistoric man story about a boy and a wolf who eventually turns into man's best friend, and that's how we get man and dog kind of hanging out, being best buds. And then Crazy Rich Asians looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. It looks like it's going to have some good humor, some good heart, some good characters. So looking forward to all 3 of these. Hopefully I can get out to the theater to see all 3 of them. I know MoviePass has been having some talk online, but since I've been out of the country and in national parks, I haven't really had to worry about my MoviePass. So we'll find out this week how well that's still working. All right, let's go ahead and jump into on DVD and Blu-ray this week. We have How to Talk to Girls at Parties, Bad Samaritan, and Avengers: Infinity War. So out of these 3 films, the 2 that I'm looking forward to, How to Talk to Girls at Parties. I was really excited about that film when it came out. I could not find a showing in my town at all, which was a bummer. So I'm looking forward to catching that now that it's going to be on Blu-ray. Bad Samaritan looked okay. I may check it out. I'm not really sold on it yet, but definitely Avengers: Infinity War, looking to pick that up and add that to the Blu-ray collection for sure. Now, if you want my review for Avengers: Infinity War, that is up on the channel. You can go ahead and check that out. It is going to be in the movie review playlist, and it's waiting for you. So go ahead and smash that playlist, and you'll find it waiting for you right there. All right, we're going to go ahead and move now into the last segment of the show, and that is Certified Rad. You guys never know what's going to drop, but I can guarantee whatever drops is most definitely Certified Rad, and this week is no exception. So this story actually is coming to us from goodhousekeeping.com, and it is about, and again, down below in the description box, click it, it's waiting for you. This takes place, is actually back in July, so not too long ago. It takes place in a Tallahassee, Florida, at San Marcos apartment complex. This 9-year-old boy, Colby, he was trying to get out to swim, and he heard some noise and everything like that, and he ends up seeing a 3-year-old boy by the name of Omari Howard just kind of floating in the pool, right? He didn't realize what was going on. He thought the kid was just swimming, kind of relaxing. Then he realizes, holy cow, the kid's drowning. So he kind of jumps in, takes everything, like gets everything together there as far as like, you know, trying to make noise to get people's attention. And he eventually ends up picking the kid out of the water and rushing him over to adults to actually like get them to like help save this kid. So at 9 years old, again, all in the article, you can check it out down below. At 9 years old, this kid is like, I'm ready to party. Let's jump in this pool and let's get our summer pool on. And then he's like, holy cow, there's this kid floating there. He makes a bunch of noise to try and get adults' attention, grabs the kid out of the water, rushes him to the adults. And that's a hero, right? This kid probably reads comics. This kid probably watches cartoons with heroes in them. He probably is a big fan of the Marvel Cinematic Universe and the DC films, right? 9-year-old boy. What 9-year-old boy doesn't love comics and comic book characters and heroes? But this kid is an actual hero. He saved somebody's life. And then not only did he save him, he got him to the right people so that they could ensure that the kid will be okay, even beyond what's going on with like him drowning. So when you can spot somebody in danger and you can jump into the pool and pull them out to save them so they don't drown, you can guarantee that that is certified rad, especially for a 9-year-old boy. I'm sure he was scared, but he still like faced his fear, jumped in, did what he had to do to save this kid from drowning. Certified rad, people. Shut it down. That's certified rad. So check that article out. Pretty dope stuff. Again, all in the description box below. You're going to want to smash that button. If this is your first time watching, thank you much. Excuse me. Thank you so much for joining us. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, give me the thumbs up, because the thumbs up helps people who like movie-related shows find this movie-related show right here on YouTube. Also, don't forget to smash that subscribe button and then hit the bell so you get the notifications when new content drops right here on this channel. All right, everybody, I'm going to get out of here. Thank you guys so much again for joining me this week on another brand new episode of Brunansky's Vlog. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope we'll see you back here next week, Monday morning at 10 a.m. PST with another brand new episode. Until then, and in the meanwhile, and as always, I hope you guys have a great week. I hope you're able to get out to see some movies in theaters this week. And until next Monday at 10 a.m. PST right here on YouTube, good night and good luck.